Did you know that clothing can bring you closer to your godliness and holiness? I know that sounds silly, doesn't it? According to this reading for Dustin, we are learning to balance our threefold flame, many of us. And if our threefold flame is out of balance, we cannot hear God. We are not powerful. Dustin has three parts to himself at the top of the page. These three selves reflect the threefold flame. They reflect something in the past, something in the present, and something in the future, and it reflects a balance that must be maintained daily. And if we look at 11 o'clock, we see someone holding a stone with the name Sash on it. It has a face that looks like Odin and a raven holding an eye of Odin. And this part of Dustin is smaller than the 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock position of Dustin. This means that there is something that Dustin needs to do to bring that flame up and make it stronger to balance out the other two flames. And this will help Dustin become closer to God and hear the voice of God and pull the sword out of the stone. So we come from trees, and we have to understand that our physical body needs to be adorned with the proper clothing in order to have life energy. So there were sashes and girdles that covered the loins for prophets and holy men from the Bible. Righteousness shall be the belt of his loins, faithfulness the belt of his waist. The girdle has a controlling and binding influence over all the bodily attire. So these qualities have a controlling and binding influence over all of his purposes and his actions. This is why people who are in ceremonies wear particular clothing. Some of these tunics and sashes were woven without a seam. Some of them were made of wool, some were made of linen. And the woolen cloth with the 4 prescribed tassels at the corner, which numerically calculated the name of God, which you have the number 4 at 11 o'clock. And also, there's leather sandals. The person at the right is wearing leather sandals. So silk sashes were precisely made for minstrels to memorize stories. These obies are made of cloth, but occasionally they're made of leather, with a tail sash featured a sequence of symbols. And inside their sashes had coded messages with symbols and pictures to assist them in spells, enchantments, to activate the spells within their tail sash. And they would even have runes inscribed on tokens pressed against a matching rune on the sash. The sash of charisma was a type of enchanted fiery red silk sash with a golden buckle emblazoned with the image of a peacock. The sash of fire resistance is a type of enchanted red silk sash brocaded with platinum thread that was unique to the region of Zakhara. There was the sash of heat endurance. It was an enchanted sash. They have a shimmering sash, a type of enchanted, brightly colored sash unique to the region. And there was even an elven sash with 10 pockets sold in its folds. The person at the 1 o'clock looks like an elf. So I believe that Spirit is telling you to get involved in a particular sash that's going to help you have a particular power. For why is this important to you? I don't know. I find it so fascinating. There's the gold elf adornment that wizards wear. It's made of flax. It's made of a flax sash. Then the members of the Brotherhood of the True Flame, they were known for fire resistance and heat endurance sashes. And the Brotherhood of the True Flame is part of your message and your piece as well. So if we have been sorted into a new way of looking at things and operating and thinking in this new world that is opening up for us, we need to step into it. And that means get into sashes and clothing that are high in frequency and have spells or enchantments from God that help you to do divine things. And the colors of the sashes were also important, as colors emit a frequency as well. Many angels wore white sashes because this is the symbol of the peacock, and the colors of the peacock blending into one color which turned white. This means that we have become balanced in our 7 colors of the rainbow and have become holy and purified. Some wizards wore green robes with golden sashes. These sashes remind me of clothing that people wear in India, of silk, and they're brightly colored, often woven with gold, 24 karat gold. I can feel it already. I feel like you could telepathically connect to the clothing and it activates you somehow. I know this is so strange, but I believe this age of Aquarius is an age of we're stepping back into concepts that we have been ignorant to for a long time. And it's time to go back to understanding that everything is about frequency. And God is frequency. So the more frequency you get toward life energy and move away from death energy, the stronger the communication to God. So for instance, if you were to sleep with linen, it would help you fall asleep better. It improves your mood. Linen has a frequency of like 5,000 hertz. Death in a human being begins at 25 hertz. Full life begins at 70 hertz. So when you wear or sleep in linen sheets or clothing, you're getting major life energy that will help heal you. So fabric has frequency. We are electric beings, and every cell in our body is a battery, whether we realize it or not. The vibrational frequency of fabric impacts us through touch. This can change our energetic and functional state. A human body signature is usually 100. This can differ from 70 to 100. If someone's frequency is 62, they have a compromised immune system. So linen made from flax has 5,000 hertz. Wool also has 5,000 hertz. These are called super fabrics. You never want to wear linen and wool together because they count each other out and will make you at 0. It actually cancels out the healing, and the effect is 0, which is death. Organic cotton has between 70 and 110 hertz. Non-organic cotton is between 40 and 70 hertz frequency. Sometimes certain cottons can have 400 hertz frequency. I'm wondering if it has anything to do with putting the fabric out in the sun. You can activate crystals, you can activate fabric as well. Low energy death fabric is rayon, polyester, spandex, nylon, and even silk. A sickly, nearly dead individual's frequency is about 15. If you're healthy, but you're wearing low energy fabric, you will have a strain on your energetic body, and you won't be as powerful as you want to be. I can just see all of us walking around looking like Jesus now. Sandals and a robe, yay. And a tunic and secret spells inside. We've been led to believe that genetic predisposition can cause illness. It's important to stress that these non-healing fabrics are destructive. Wearing them constantly reduces the immune system and the cells inside the body. Low energy fabrics can cause inflammation, illness, and even emotional issues. Let's talk about the legendary sword and the stone. And we're going to link it back to clothing. One of the most famous British legends is that of King Arthur and the sword and the stone. The story goes that only the true king of England could pull the sword out of the stone. Of course, because the king of England would be wearing a tunic and a sash and would have the power to do so. Look at the clothing. What is this person wearing who's pulling the sword out of the stone? A tunic, a sash, linen. So the story goes that this man named Sant Galgano was told by an angel to go and become a hermit in the cave. This is often what shamans do. They go into a cave to become a hermit, to leave the world behind. Leave your family, leave your friends, leave everyone behind. Why? To collect power, to hear the voice of God, to trust the voice of God, to obey the voice of God, and to let go of self-importance or low self-worth and do the will of God. And this is why Jesus said, if you don't hate your brother, your mother, your sister, even your own life, you're not going to hear the voice of God. You will not become powerful. You cannot pull the sword out of the stone if you don't surrender all of your will to the will of God. So if the will of God tells you to wear these clothings, leave people behind, then we trust and obey and we do it. Why? Because we have to grow our spirit. Our spirit isn't going to just sit around doing the same thing over and over again. We have to grow, otherwise we die. So when this individual was in the cave, they learned to hear the voice of God, and they changed their clothing, and they changed what they ate, and they changed their ideas of themselves and their relationship with the world, and they began to not just see themselves as being flesh, but they also realized they had a double self that was spirit. And then the triple self is the understanding that spirit is connected to God, and God is within and connected to all spirits. So once you're wearing holy clothing, your touch will become holy. You will be high vibe. You can go touch people who need healing from a holy person. But we can't be holy if we're not wearing holy clothing, if we are not raising our frequency, if we are not doing things with words of God secretly in the little pockets of the sashes. That helps to increase the power of not only the body, but the spirit. There's secrets to this. I know for me, I'm thinking really words. The English word, isn't English kind of a cursed language, I don't know. Just allow spirit to help you with maybe the Enochian language of the angels and put that language in your sash. Whatever comes to you and birth life and excitement for you is probably what you need to do to encourage your spiritual growth and the balance of your threefold flame. So the threefold flame is a divine spark. It is the seed of the divine within your heart chakra. It is the seed of the inner Christ and the inner Buddha. The heart is the soul's link to divinity. This is because the I Am presence is placed in a spiritual flame. This is the essence of itself. It's your heart. And so right within your own body temple are three fiery plumes of the Holy Spirit. It's pink, yellow, and blue. And so this is the heavenly trinity that must be balanced. And it's balanced male, female, spirit. Sometimes it's balanced with other elements. But these three flames, if one of them is out of balance, you will go back to an old way or an old paradigm, and you won't be growing. You will actually suffocate your breathing and stagnate your growth. And suddenly you're like, where's the voice of God? I can't feel it, see it. But this rayon clothing is laughing at you with a knife at your throat going, ah ha 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 ha, you're wearing rayon and polyester clothing. And it's killing you, and I'm winning and you're losing. We have to wear clothing that is holy. We have to put on essential oils and protect our heads and think in terms of frequency, think in terms of sound and negative ions and positive ions. Are we hydrated? Are we drinking enough high frequency water? Is our pH balanced? Body, mind, and spirit must be balanced in the threefold flame. So your goal in this process is to balance the threefold flame so that the love of your heart may also equal the intelligence of your mind and to the determination and the will of God that is sealed within you, your body, your holy temple. Logic, emotion, belief, spirit, all must be in alignment. And then guess what? You turn into Doctor Strange and you start seeing mandalas and you start using your hands and your body and you start pulling swords out of a stone and you're like, what? You have the Odin symbol and you have the Solomon symbol. This means, like the movie Avatar, your consciousness bounced to this lower realm of water and you are an avatar. So one of your eyes is down here. Your other eye is a godly man, like Odin. So King Solomon, the key of Solomon is in the name Solomon. You have a piece of yourself in the sun. Sol means sun. You have a piece of yourself in the moon. Oman is moon. So you're in the moon energy currently. The god of the moon was named Sin. You were born in Sin. You were a tree spirit, actually, according to your reading. And Jesus died on a tree. Odin died on a tree. And Jesus said, you know a man by the fruit of his tree. So you can see Solomon here. He has a self that's clear in the sun, but a self that's in an illusion that's in the water. So this world is an illusion that we're in, kind of like a hologram or a program. And yes, you're here to learn. Odin said, I put one of my eyes in the mystical waters to gain wisdom. That's why you're here. But you have to grow yourself and not be distracted by the world. And perhaps there's a communication to you that it is time to leave the world behind in some ways, so that we can stop being addicted to things that are really taking away from our balance and our power. So there's two pieces of yourself at 5 o'clock that died, two trees. And there's a story of the two trees as well. And there's a computer screen that says Oz and Iris. This is Osiris. So the land of Oz is where Dorothy went, and Iris is the goddess of the rainbow. So there's two worlds, a dual reality that mirrors each other. And we found ourselves in this world of duality, and we have died many times, and our consciousness just bounces to parallel lives and parallel bodies. You have a symbol of Donnie Darko around 8 o'clock in your piece, and signing contracts and being an actor. And the number 55 is the number 10. We were unaware that we have a double. Once you become aware that you have a double self, you become the number 11. This is your twin flame. The number 14 is that Osiris's body was cut 14 times. 14 is the number of the Holy Spirit. And it was split 7 and 7. 7 for her, 7 for him. So one world is the land of Oz, the great and mighty wizard, and the other is the land of Iris, the mother. And she is the Holy Spirit. And together they make the Holy Spirit, which is the number 14. Look at all of the sacred geometrical shapes that you have in your piece. You have triangles, you have dodecahedrons, you have icosahedrons, and you have stars, and you have so many ancient symbols here, a lot of Norse mythology, a lot of elf energy. And this is just asking you to get into the Enochian language, get into runes, get into enchantments and amulets and things that have power, and have fun with it. And don't make yourself feel like these things are too hard or heavy for you, like I see at 11 o'clock. Like this idea of becoming spiritual is so heavy. The idea of pulling a sword out of a stone seems impossible. Believe in magic and have fun with it. Have fun with your clothing. Have fun with frequency. Dance and laugh. If it's not fun, don't do it. Because joy is your strength. Keep your heart as a child. The person blowing a flute with the hat facing toward the man with the stone that looks like Odin, is, I believe that many lifetimes we left this world without fulfilling our destiny because we did not balance that third flame. And this third flame is somehow weirdly connected to the sash, and not understanding that our physical body is the temple. The spirit, our double, is the voice that must be followed. And our beliefs and our mind and our emotions are dominated and balanced by truth that leads to life frequency, not death frequency. So you can imagine the bird above your head to be a raven, but it could also be the holy dove. The first bird that was released on Noah's Ark was the raven, but it did not bring Noah to a new home. It's only the holy dove leads us home. So the holy dove is the purification, like the white sword. And Archangel Michael, if you pushed pause and read some of the information, is part of that energy of turning white. Now you have a couple of people under your chin that's blocking your throat chakra, and it looks like male and female energy that needs to be balanced so the mother can speak through you as well. And it also looks like you may be a healer and a toucher, but in order to touch people and heal them, you shouldn't be wearing polyester, rayon, or linen. Not linen, silk. Linen and cotton are the two highest frequency that you should be wearing. You could also wear wool, which is very high in frequency, but do not mix linen with wool. And I know this is also going to sound really weird, but around 2 o'clock, there's somebody wearing a hat, like they're Jewish, and then it has a dreidel on it. You know, the reason why wizards and holy people wear a head covering is because we have an invisible light that comes out of the top of our head, and that can be distorted through false frequency like 5G or even positive ions. Positive ions come from cell phones, 5G towers, computers. And your Taurus field looks like an apple. So when your Taurus field is activated and strong, it's a beautiful golden apple. But if it has a bite out of it, like a cell phone, then your Taurus field is feeding something that does not need to be feeding. So this is why people wear head coverings, and this is why you have a head covering as well. You have a mask above your head, so you are being unmasked to be shown who you are, and who you're being told that you are is you're a collective consciousness. You have many pieces of yourself. This individualized self that you are in right now is an avatar that is trying to succeed in this lifetime where you failed in the last lifetime because the threefold flame was not balanced. Balance it this time through activating your physical body through frequency. I hope this resonated with you. It was very strange for me to see that this information came out for you. I am totally going to go buy some linen clothing now, or cotton clothing, preferably linen clothing. I don't care how much it is, and see what happens. Maybe we can do like a video of how we feel and how we think and how our dreams are when we switched from polyester or rayon and cheap clothing to holy clothing. Thank you so much for what you have to teach us, and I really enjoyed your reading. If you would like a reading, go to forestfairy.com.